Hey ratbags, it's Jade. Obviously Valheim on Xbox finally launched for everyone most recently, but there's already a big fix incoming. This has gone to the public test branch, so you won't see this if you're just playing the regular version of Valheim on your Xbox, PC, Windows or Steam. You do have to opt into it either via the Xbox Insider Hub or choose it from the betas in the Steam. So obviously testing this out, this means that some of these changes, and some of them are quite substantial, won't be coming just yet. It may appear maybe later on this week, but more than likely next week at some point. So the big one, the troll staff can no longer be used in dungeons. Troll stars will now give a warning message when trying to spawn in too many trolls. Looks like people felt it was a bit too cheesy and OP. And overall, once you take the stuff that you get from the Ashlands to any other biome, you are pretty much dominating. Like, it is definitely that power step up, so much so that everything else seems really easy once you come back to a previous biome. I mean, I know that's progression anyway, right? But sometimes there's still issues or moments you can have, whether or not you're in the mountains or the swamps, and obviously going back to the Mistlands, but it definitely feels like that jump is bigger. So maybe that's to balance it out a little bit. It was pretty easy to just summon the troll, leave him in there if you're fighting Lord Rito, and pretty much let him do the work, or against any other mobs. So it's kind of nerfing a power, and I don't necessarily like limitations on things like this. If you're going to implement it, that's the thing you've got to think about. But it does make the most sense in terms of balance. Spawn trolls can now be attacked by bosses. Apparently that wasn't working. Smoke bombs can now be used to put out fire. I have been wondering what smoke bombs are used for. I haven't really played around with them because in any other game, smoke bombs are just useless. I was wondering what the hell they're for in, obviously, Valheim. So another use, I'm sure they've got something else as well. But that sounds good, especially if you've turned on the modifier. Remember, by default, you don't have to worry about your bases catching fire anywhere in the world. Only in Ashlands. But you can turn it on so that the rest of the world has the same issues, that sometimes your base might catch on fire. So maybe it's to help combat that. Stone portals now be able to build on stone and black marble. The shield generator no longer takes damage from being built over lava. Groused and arched roof pieces no longer display a gap between two of the roof pieces. Fixing an issue with performance to do with groused and building pieces. Vader's flame is no longer visible on longer distance than his body. The catapult will no longer duplicate stacked items. Magmafish is now interested in hot fishing bait, and Immobilized tooltip will no longer show unnecessary stats. Loading screen will now freeze the window for a much shorter period, and the intro will now start playing while loading to shorten the overall loading time when starting the game for the first time. You can now cycle through hints in loading screen and a bunch of localization tweaks. So there we go. I would say that's pretty big, having the troll staff nerfed somewhat, and maybe some more uses for things like smoke bombs, but overall good stuff. So I'm updating it now. How has the actual update been received? Well, I'd be lying if not everyone loved it. Valheim was sitting at a 90, I think, or 91% positive review score in the last 30 days, but that has dropped by 2 or 3%. I do get the sense that some people still think that the Ashlands is just a bit too much of a drop off. I also think that people forget this is an early access title. The overall plan does need to be taken into consideration. Not everything can be just balanced just for what we've got now. Sometimes we've got to balance for what's happening in the future. That's what I've heard over and over again from devs when I spoke to them, and I'm sure it's the same for the Valheim devs. As I said, that power jump once you get the gear in Ashlands is quite substantial, which must mean that once we get to the deep north, we're going to need that type of gear, and we're certainly going to need that power jump, and hence why the disparity in getting started. I'm not going to lie, if you watch my streams, you've seen me pretty frustrated doing it solo with base default settings. There's been a couple times where I've raged out and called the devs every name under the sun. But, the minute I achieved what I wanted to do, whether it was finally being able to tame an Asvin or just get hold of my first for metal after dying like 20 times, it did give me that sense of accomplishment. I would say though, it is painful playing Ashlands right now. It can be real challenging unless you know to do everything you should be doing, like setting up multiple shields, putting lots of crafting benches down to kind of hopefully reduce the spawns, and making sure you've got a good fob and a portal back to somewhere safe. And you've got the best gear and upgraded armor from Mistlands. That is crucial and something that I really maybe neglected. No doubt about it. For solo players, it does feel just a little bit still too overtuned. They've already reduced and nerfed a bunch of stuff and made it a little bit more palatable. I can only presume that's what I'm seeing from the comments, that might be the similar sort of reviews I'm seeing on Steam. There are a couple people that still want the game to be just as tough and don't want any more nerfs and want the game to be balanced, and that's viable too. But yeah, I would say think about the whole experience. Valheim is such a great complete game. Like, if you'd have said it was done now, it would be amazing. It was done and amazing when it came into early access. Well worth the 15 quid, $20, whatever it is. But it is an early access title. It probably won't be releasing out of early access to the end of 2025, maybe even beginning of 2026. There are going to be moments where it's going to have maybe content added that you're feeling just maybe it's not right or something's a bit off with it, but it could be planned for the future. So I think they're still going to be making some changes. They'll obviously be looking at other biomes and balancing, but obviously none of that you maybe expect in the next few weeks. I'm sure they're still going to be focusing just on the Ashlands itself more or less. And I reckon maybe towards the winter time, that's when we'll start looking at maybe another update to improve certain features and basically just check on other stuff. But yeah, let me know what you think. It's also half price at the moment, Valheim. If somehow you haven't bought it or you want to get your friends involved, go and get them to buy it right now. Honestly, they will not miss this. At 7 quid, it is the best value survival game in this Steam festival going right now, with so many games on discount. Valheim's already one of the top 3 survival games ever, but I highly recommend if you haven't tried it or you've got friends that want to pick it up, make sure they check it out rather than any of these other games. While some of them are all good, Valheim's still the GOAT, even if it has hit a few hot bumps in the road. So there we go, ratbags. I'll be back with more Valheim stuff. I am taking a little break from the Valheim. Like I said, it was getting to me a little bit just being solo. So I probably am going to make it just a slightly bit easier in the settings and make sure that I've got a good amount of time to really dive into it. I guess the biggest thing for me is definitely skill loss. That would be the one that I would love to maybe see change just a bit. It seems so punishing as a solo player when you get to that stage that you go down from like 60 to 25 in such a short space of dying. So I would like to see like a cap or something like that. So yeah, give some ideas. What do you want? I hate it when I see people saying, oh, the game's rubbish now. Oh, this update's bad. Constructive criticism. Tell people what you want to see changed, what you think's done well, what you really like about the update or certain feature, and also tell exactly what it is you could see improving. Give some ideas. Until next time, ratbags, I'll catch you later.